Why, hello there, fellow space miners. Rerouting here. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan, episode 70. Setting up an ice crusher for space ice. Let's see how many volatiles we've gotten so far. So if we have about 8, I need 16 over here. It's nearing its maximum pressure. So it's going to start groaning soon. But I'm okay with that. It can groan. I could always add like another inline tank or something like that if I'm really all that concerned. And let's assume that this is enough piping to reroute. So just rerouting the waistline so that it's not in the way here. Because it needs to connect to this air conditioner to have this air conditioner run. And yeah, I'll save a brown pipe on the window once I'm done. I know why I built it this way prior to like save for precious floor space within the crew quarters, but fewer and fewer things are getting installed in here, so I'm not that concerned. Oh, was the AC still running? Because I know I, like, unplugged it. It is not running. Once you sever the inputs, it, like, ceases to work. There we go. Can the vertical line just go here? What's in the way? I don't see anything in the way. I'm not placing it right? It's hard to see when it snaps. Let's do a 3. What's up there? I don't think anything's up there. Yeah, okay. Let's, I don't want to disrupt... Oh, well, there's a bunch of stuck gas in the... Okay, let's not do that. I'll have to break it down from reverse so it doesn't, like, overpressurize or whatever. Still trying to rework it. We're almost done moving that waistline, and then we'll be able to actually process ice. Yeah, okay. I can have this waistline pop up here. It's fine. It might even be a bit of a cleaner solution. Oh, come on, jetpack. So fussy. So those 3 segments are to be removed, and then it's going to require me to like go inside and outside a few times, just because I want to break everything down in the correct order so it doesn't create like gas voids. Oops. Come on. There we go. There we go. So now it's being rerouted smarter. So let's go break things down in the correct order, and then we'll be able to install our ice crusher. And then we just need a whole bunch of iron to be able to chute feed it, so that we can have that chute fed ice crusher. So everything from here. And the reason for this is, and I'll just show you why I'm like careful about the order and destroying. If I do it in the incorrect order like this, there's gas left in this pipe. stuck. And if I don't necessarily want to like degas, like to, yeah, I'm trying to leave the contents of the pipe alone, which is why I'm building it in reverse order so that nothing gets like isolated and lodged. But there we go. Now we have a nice area for ice crusher, and a decent view. Like it's I like these windows. Power looks great. Water's good. What is the read of our volatiles? Because once the volatiles are 16? Yeah, okay. Let's pause that. Let the temperatures normalize. They don't really need to hit 20. I don't think that's a big deal. But at least normalize to one another, and then we'll start refueling Dave to send him back up for the oxygen vapor. So there's a little bit more repiping I need to do out there, and then we'll just do the ice crushing. The other thing we're going to need on top of all of this is to add additional water storage and CO2 storage, because the amount of CO2 and water we're about to get is immense. It's going to be quite a lot. So that's another piece of concern. The CO2 is being stored here. We're going to want to probably put it in a tank on the roof, because inline storage is simply not going to be enough storage to contain the amount of CO2 that we're going to crush out of this ice. And then the same is going to be true for water. So let's get... we already have an inline tank for CO2 potentially, if I just, like, repurpose this one. So I'm going to repurpose this one, because, well, why the hell not? This is adding 6,000 liters to a system that already has like 50,000 liters. So it totally not necessary to keep this here for pressure reasons. So you're coming with me. Whee! I should have, like, vacuum... I don't see any damage here. Oh, no, that wall flat got a little damaged. Because the sudden release of all that pressure did some damage. And I think this wall is, like, making noise because of it, or whatever. You know what, wall? You can shut it. I'm just gonna fix it the, like, getaway. It's just a logic wall. It's not a... It's not, like, load retaining or anything. Come on, just let me hitbox it, please, for the love of... Ah! Where is your frickin' hitbox? One problem covering the entire wall with cables. Ha! I win. I don't really need the other wall. I'll just hold on to this flat wall then. Oh yeah, there's the sheets. And the creakiness was just the damage to the wall. Oh my god. I mean, they're like, the cables are a little bit... Oh, you, for the love of... Yeah, unfortunately for me... Alright, let's see. Hold on. I'm going nuclear here. You piece of junk. There. That did nothing to the data network, but it did everything to the hitbox. Huzzah! Okay. That has been fixed. Now we have ourselves, after much being launched into the wall and all that, a CO2 tank where we can store CO2 in higher capacity. Maybe what I'll do, because this is our CO2 line, the yellow one. Maybe I'll just attach the CO2 tank to like the wall here, like I did the other tank. Although it, yeah, whatever. It looks, whatever. And I'm gonna want to paint this yellow, and we're gonna connect it up to the yellow line. So let's paint our pipes yellow and get the yellow paint for that. And we've got a flat wall and a steel sheet. All right, pipes are yellow.
Waistline caution.
Okay. ACs are all on when we were fiddling with the waistline, so I don't see any issues there. Good. I'm gonna stick the ice crusher just like right here and build it so it's out of the way. Whatever happened to the pipes? We built this ice crusher with pipes, right? No, iron sheets. Oh yeah, okay. I was like, no wonder I don't have the materials. All right, there we go. Ice crusher. So the ice crusher will have a liquid output and a gas output. The gas output for at least this batch of ice is going to be carbon dioxide, and the liquid output will be water. So what we're doing is we're making sure that we siphon that stuff up to where it needs to go. So we'll have a carbon dioxide go out this way. And then we're going to want to connect it up to both the tank and then, you know, everything else. Come on, just... Oh, is there a pipe above it? There might be. I don't know. I have no idea. You know what? Hold on. I do have an idea. Sensor glasses. Switch to Mez. Brilliant. There is not a pipe above it. So it's just being fussy. Whatever. That's fine. And then the liquid, we need to make liquid pipes, but it only really needs to connect to this with a higher volume. So it's not it's not complicated at all. All right, let's get the yellow paint. And the spray gun. And we're pretty close to being able to start processing all this stuff. I could send Dave up right now. It's tempting, but let me just focus on this one project first. Now, the only issue with this design is I'm designing in such a way that I'm essentially assuming that the ice I get is always carbon dioxide and water ice. The thing is, all future mining missions are likely to be are likely to be for oxygen ice. So I'm not too worried about the about that at all, I guess. Because once we process this ice, I'll just retool it for the other type of ice. And the other type of ice is just what we get in perpetuity. At least for these missions. And if you really wanted to set it up differently, what you could do is have a different silo and a different umbilical system, so that each umbilical system and silo is like its own type of ice. That'd certainly be one way to manage processing different types of batches. All right, I'm gonna make that. Whatever. I don't care. Small pipes are fine. There we go. So now, it's a little wiggly. It's a little wobbly, but this should be CO2 in it, because this is our CO2 line, and lo and behold, it is indeed CO2. Perfect. So the ice crusher's gas output is CO2 now, and I don't have enough pipes to hook up this bad boy. But this is going to be our CO2 tank, so let's label it as such. Because I've been labeling tanks, so CO2 tank. This, I never labeled that. I guess I didn't have to pressure read it. This is our coolant tank. I never labeled that either. That is our... What tank is that? That is our water coolant tank. God, I really need to rework that system. Water coolant tank. Actually, that system is kind of going to be completely and utterly obsolete once we start crushing this ice. Because this ice is going to be a way better way to get our water than H2 combustion. Like millions of times better. Okay, a few more pipes, and that's hooked up. And once I do this, maybe I'll go launch the Dave. As long as the fuel and oxygen are of similar pressures. That's probably enough. Okay. Is Dave ready for a relaunch? 40.7, 40.6. Yep, that's going to make fuel. A little warm fuel, but fuel all the same. So, gas mixing it. Now. And Dave's still going to be an ice miner, but he's going for oxygen ice. So we are going to set destination to the oxygen vapor. I'm just going to launch straight there and skip the whole orbity thing. Dave is still hooked up to Dave link uplink logic. Nabla isn't hooked up, obviously, because we abandoned that rocket. So we're making the fuel for Dave. And the pressures between the gas mixer are now, like, equalized, so we can't make any more fuel. So I need to just start fueling up Dave. So current priority right now is to launch Dave miner to the O2 cloud. And then we'll process the ice. Yeah, warm fuel is a little bit less dense than cold fuel. But as long as it doesn't hit 300 Celsius for auto ignition, it's fine. And we're at 40 out of 300, so it's not like I'm close to auto ignition temps. Damn it. I'm launching a rocket. I can't be hungry. Alright, reversing the pump. And now we are fueling Dave up. And we can close that door. And then we'll add more fuel than we did last time to make sure that Dave has a bit of a smoother landing than last time. Let's let the umbilical work its magic for a minute. Because it got a little overpressurized. So, right now it's 5 kilomoles. Let's keep going. Because last time we launched with 6 kilomoles of oxygen and it was just enough gas. And I don't want just enough because that scares me a bit. So here we are passing the 6 kilomole mark. We're still at only 32 pressure out of the potential, like... Actually, what is it? The rocket gas mediums out of 60, right? So we're like half pressurized. This pipe will start groaning soon because it's getting pressurized, but I don't think it's much of an issue. We'll just let it catch up, the umbilicals, that is. You know, one thing that we could do is to lower the volume so that it doesn't go kablamo. And now we're at almost 7 kilomoles. Let's get up to 8. If I can. Or like 7.5. 7.5 would be a nice... So it's 1.5 kilomoles more oxygen and 3 kilomoles more volatiles for launch than we had before. And there's definitely like improvements to be made to the system. One would be to have a remote... power console for the gas mixer, so I could turn on the gas mixer remotely, and another would be some sort of like console reader, so I can read the pressure of the rocket. But at this point, we hit that 7.5 kilomole mark. Right, we're at 7.57, perfect. So let's retract umbilicals and launch. Closing up the rocket. I'm going to want to pull whatever gas is in this pipe back to this section. Now this is empty. I can turn off the umbilicals. And Dave is all fueled up, all powered up, and ready to go. So let's launch Dave to the oxygen vapor cloud and then start surveying it. And then afterwards, you know, take a lunch break, because we're starving. Alright. Gas mixer off. We used basically every last ounce of volatiles we had. So obviously this is going to have to turn back on. I'll just do that now. Which means that the carbon dioxide in here is going to get hot before it gets cold again after processing the ice. Alright, UI. Dave. 99, lots of fuel, heading to oxygen vapor, and liftoff. And you'll be there in about 500 seconds, so I don't need to babysit you for a bit. Cool. Our little Ice Miner is doing its second mission. Dave got launched before I had to leave to work. Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose. Good timing and all. Okay, hooking up the... Okay, now that we launched that, have Dave mine O2 and process CO2, H2O, ice. Them's the priorities. So we're still setting up the extra volume storage for CO2 and H2O. We're almost there, but a little bit ways to go. Alright, now that tank should have the CO2, and the pressure should be rather low. Yep, perfect. So we have a lot more CO2 storage, meaning that there's somewhere to put all that gas we're going to process off the ice we've got. Now let's just do the same thing for the H2O, and then we can start then laying out the chute system, and then we can start crushing ice like crazy. Cannot wait. So first thing, let's get a liquid water tank. Now, it's important to note, gas takes up a lot more volume than liquid, because gas is a lot less dense than liquid. So 1,000 moles of a liquid and 1,000 moles of a gas in tanks are very, very, very different. And this will make a lot of sense pretty soon. The liquid tank we're going to install is going to be the same size as the gas tank, but like be able to hold so much more liquid, because it's a liquid, not a gas. It's not steam. So insulated liquid tank is what we're going to do, and I need copper for that. And we are going to connect it to this thing right here. This line here that we already got going on, because that allows us to selectively flush it into our system. The other thing we're going to want to do is to set this up, the ice crusher. What is 288 Kelvin to Celsius? That is 14 degrees Celsius. Forget that. Let's do 5 degrees Celsius to Kelvin, which is 278. Because I don't want to have the ice crusher spend a lot of time heating the ice up to temp. The other thing I hadn't thought of until just now, which is I don't know how much power I can have this. I don't know if this network I'm connecting it to can support the amount of power this will draw. But if we start to brown out, I'll have to wire this up differently. Not a big deal, either way. So here's our liquid tank. Let's get some liquid pipes. And realistically, I could have done this inline, just because water takes up so much less than gas. So like the 23 liters we have here, the capacity of our very, very, very tiny liquid network here is like 500 liters of water, right? Whereas like our oxygen, massive network of oxygen is only 1,000 liters of oxygen, and it's like way more plumbing and everything, just to show the scale. So like a single inline of oxygen and a single inline of a liquid are just not the same. This is so many more pipes than I likely need. Okay, so let's get these installed somewhere outside. Because I don't have a lot of space indoors, and it doesn't need to be indoors. Cargo on Dave is still set to open. I can set it to not open, but it wouldn't really matter. Because it's not like there's anywhere for the stuff to go. But once it lands, I wouldn't want it to go into the same... So yeah, I'm going to want to close that, for sure. Let's just put it here. He's busy. It's right above where we are storing the water. Just to help visualize this, Meson on. That's it. That was the whole setup. So now this whole thing has 6,000... Oh, there's only steam in it? I suppose I just Yeah, no, it should only be steam. No, that's right. That is actually correct. Then the other part of this is to hook that tank up to the actual ice crusher. Meson glasses are great. It's a little, like, sometimes it's, like, too much information. So, this ice crusher... Because that, again, to visualize, this tank is connected to this pipe. So, this ice crusher just needs to connect to that pipe right there. Yeah, it's pretty crazy looking. The complexity. And it's actually very hard to... Because there's no, like, depth. It's very hard to look at sometimes. Alright, done. So now this whole network's capacity should have gone up massively. It's not counting that tank, but, like, it's 690 liters of capacity here, and then that tank has, like, 6,000. So yeah, there's no way we're gonna fill that up easily. Not without some considerable levels of, like, we know it's filling up, we need to do something. Whatever. Alright, all that's left is to name the water tank. The liquid tank are, like, water tank. And then, to set up the chutes. So, let's go ahead and set a basic... And the important thing about these chutes is, and I cannot stress this enough, do not use windows. Windowed chutes will melt ice. If you have ores, it's fine. But I don't have ores. I have ice, so, like, no window chutes, because that would be catastrophic. I know I'm going to need a lot more chutes than I currently have, so let's go and print them up. And check on where Dave is at. Dave has arrived at oxygenated vapor. Cool. Let's go rocket. The cargo storage will be set to closed. The scanner on. And survey the location. So now we're surveying the oxygenated vapor so we can figure out its richness, density, composition, etc. And I'm going to guess I'm going to need like 40 chutes or so. So I'll just keep making more chutes. We're back up to 3 kilomoles, 1 kilomole, 2 kilomoles. We're doing good on gas. And of course, the CO2 is about to spike like crazy because we're about to crush ice and feed it to our CO2. So that's, I mean, that's not going to be a bottleneck. So right now, the bottleneck for future launches is the amount of volatiles that we can take off the atmosphere, because, and the amount of oxygen the greenhouse filters. But soon the oxygen in the greenhouse filters is also not going to be a bottleneck because we're going to be collecting oxygenated ice. All right, let's try to do this with 32 chutes. I might need more. But before I go back outside, we'll check on the survey. So it is ice, which is oxygen and carbon dioxide. It's majority oxygen by a lot. It's 20 parts oxygen, 4 parts carbon dioxide. And then once we hit mining boost 10%, I'll just start mining it. Because we easily fill up the limited amount of internal cargo within one mining run. So we are at... Yep, this scan, we'll start mining. Once this is done surveying. Perfect. Dastardly Dave, mine a rocket. Turn on the rocket miner. Turn on the cargo. Turn off the rocket scanner. And let it rip. So now we're mining oxide. Or like dirty oxide, let's call it. Because it has some carbon dioxide in it, so it's not true oxide. True oxide, for reference, is oxygen, nitrogen. So this is something different. This is... I don't know what to call it. Just mixed ice. Carbonated, like bubbly oxygen. I don't know. The other thing is, I don't think... Oh, no. The power switch is clickable. That's good. All right, power looks good. Let's get the chutes set up and start crushing ice. I'm excited. The amount of water that we're going to have is going to be obscene. Taking a shower might be a thing. Oh, yes. So before I forget, let's label this bad boy our water tower. And then this chute needs to connect to that silo. So I think it's reasonable to just go chute corner, straight 10. And the good news is if I fall, I don't, like, get lavaed. Another straight 10. That doesn't look like a full 10. This looks like maybe a 5. Nope. Need a 3. I'll need more chutes. I'm almost out. But at least what I was trying to avoid is like making far more chutes than I needed. So, this is good. The other thing I might want is a valve in here, which allows me to allow the flow of ice. So, I'll probably replace that chute that I'm staring at right here with a valve, so that I can stop the flow of ice if I want. That way, if I'm, like, done processing, I can, like, turn it off. So I need 1, 2, 3 more chutes, and I'm done. And then the valve might be a multi-piece. I forget. So putting a valve here. Oh, it's a one piece. I can have it. I don't have a window, which makes this limitedly useful. But having a valve there allows me to at least stop the flow of ice. Without a window, I'm not really sure it has a lot of utility, though. I will openly say. Originally, I had planned to put it in a vacuum room so we could incorporate windows, because the windows don't inherently melt the ice. It's when the windows are then exposed to sunlight. That's the problem. But I didn't want to get rid of the windows here. I could, I guess, get rid of the actual kit windows and put flat walls instead, and then I'll be able to have a windowed ice peak hole. I'll poll you. Should I have windows for the chute system? Yay or nay? I'll connect the rest of this up, and then if you want a window chute system, I'll reconfigure it. The other thing I wanted to do is to check on the power generation of the Sterling gens. They are at 13 kilowatts, so it did go up as I suspected as pressure went up. I still might want to circle back and batch another intake, because it looks like the total pressure of this tank isn't going up quite as fast as I'd want. So having another intake vent 13 units away and feeding to it would be very beneficial and like pretty cheap to do. So that might be my next like project, just because it's really effective and very, very inexpensive. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhodomont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhodomont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow astronauts.